Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.
Good morning and welcome to Business Focus, right here on the Champions League Breakfast on Capital, as always with Kudzie Sharara. Good morning to you, Kudzie. How are you?
Good morning, Tinashe. Good morning, Pratsani, and good morning, everyone.
Great. Let's begin with the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange trading update for Wednesday.
Thank you, Tinashe. So it seems like the ZSE is now trading like a yo-yo. One day it's up, the next day it's down. So yesterday it was down. On Tuesday it recorded very strong gains, and I thought it was picking up another rally there. But it seems probably those who had failed to get out of the market when they saw that prices were firming again, they took that opportunity to sell, and that profit taking resulted in the ZSE all share index dropping a marginal 0.18%. The top 10 index also easing by 0.54%, although the medium caps were positive with a 0.31% gain. Just looking at the top risers and fallers, it seems like Unifreight shares are flying off the shelves, up by 14.93%. So it's now, since the introduction of ZIG, Unifreight is up by 440%. So that's a good return there. Also positive yesterday was First Mutual Property, which has been struggling off late, but it was up by 14.11%. Art Corporation also picking up 12.96%. Art is into stationery. They also do batteries. That's Art for those who do not know the business model for Art Corporation. And then Citco also adding 10.2%, and then Pro Plastics up by 1.47%. On the downside, the biggest loser was EcoCash, down by 14.74%, followed by ZHL easing 6.25%, Star Africa dropping 4.22%, Masimba Construction down by 1.7%, and then Fidelity Life also by a marginal 0.41% in the negative territory. Investors were putting most of their money into Econet, about 1 million ZIG going into Econet, Delta getting about 819,000 ZIG, CBZ 556,000, Citco 539,000, and Deribot $409,000. So that's ZIG rather. So that's how the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange traded, and then over to the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, which was up by 0.4%, and this was on the back of gains in African Sun, First Capital Bank, Insco, and Insco. And then the daily turnover there on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange was a much improved $120,000, up from $33,000 the previous day. So that's how things went on the Victoria Falls Stock Exchange. And then just looking at the exchange traded funds, that's the DATVEST ETF, gained by 1.62%. The Old Mutual Top 10 was however down by 0.65%, whilst in terms of the Real Estate Investment Trust, that's the rates, Tigere rate dropped a modest 0.01%. So that's how things went on the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange yesterday.
All right, Kudzie, thank you so much for that. Let's look at, for those who have got questions to do with business, please come through on our WhatsApp platform, 0719 100404, 0719 100404. Before we move on to our next subject of discussion on Business Focus, attention, future leaders and innovators. The Catholic University of Zimbabwe is enrolling for the August 2024 intake. Explore a wide range of courses and advance your career with us. We are excited to introduce the Master of Business Management and Information Technology, a cutting-edge 1.5-year program. Visit www.cuz.ac.zw or contact 078 000 078 Grow with the Catholic University of Zimbabwe. Back to our Business Focus, Kudzie. How are the regional and international markets trading?
Yeah, so in terms of regional and international markets, remember that just a few days ago we were talking about a significant drops in markets across the world following not so impressive economic performance from the United States. But it seems like there was a bit of recovery on Tuesday, but yesterday the market was coming off again with the Dow Jones Industrial Average, that's in the US, down by 0.6%, and then also have the Nasdaq, which is the tech tech-based. Most of the companies that are listed on the Nasdaq are technology-based companies. Was weak by 1.16%. However, in the UK, the FTSE 100 was up by 1.75%. So that's how things went on the international front. But back to the region, into Africa, the best performer were markets in Egypt, up by 1.48%, followed by markets in South Africa, up by 1.18%. And then you also had gains in Tanzania, Namibia, Botswana, Nigeria, Ivory Coast. Those markets were also positive. And then joining Zimbabwe in the negative territory were markets in Zambia, the biggest loser there. That's the Lusaka Stock Exchange, down by 1.21%. There were also losses in Nairobi Stock Exchange, down by 0.73%. In Uganda, Tunisia, Morocco were also on the downside, and then Ghana being the biggest loser across the continent with a 1.34% drop. And then just looking at currencies, how the US dollar is performing against other currencies, it's 13.76 against the Zimbabwe gold. It's 0.91 against the euro. $1 US gets you 0.78 British pound. It will get you 18.34 South African rand. It will get you 25.89 Zambian kwacha and 7.16 Chinese yuan. So you can see there the US dollar weakening against most of these major currencies. That's what's happening on the international front. Maybe we can talk about also something that I thought we could talk about back on the Zimbabwean front. Just looking at where investors are putting their money. You know, sometimes so sometimes people want to know where are others putting money, and also maybe try and look for opportunities. So this is according to the second quarter key metrics from ZIDA, and they're telling us that the sector that got the highest projected investment value where investments that were licensed during that period, the sector which is drawing much attraction is the manufacturing sector, which is, for me, this is really good when we see money now going into the manufacturing sector. About 35 licenses were issued, and with investments worth $745 million dollars. So I think for me, this is good to see the manufacturing sector attracting. Remember, just a week or so ago, we were having the SADC Industrialization Week, which basically was more centered on the manufacturing sector, driving the manufacturing sector, and to notice that on companies that are interested in investing in Zimbabwe, whether it is international investors or domestic investors, the manufacturing sector is one that they are looking at getting into. So that's really good there. And then sector with the highest number of licenses issued, where most licenses were issued though, was in the mining sector. About 65 licenses that were issued, although the value of the projected investments wasn't that much, about $282 million. So for mining, maybe these are small scale miners there that are investing there, or because 65 just bringing in $282 million, that's not a lot. And then also by province, the Apima province, that are attracting most investors, Tinashe. So you find Masholand West is attracting the bulk of the investment, about 728 million, although by number of new licenses there were only 11. And then you've got Midlands attracting about 23 new licenses, and the value for the projected investment at 598 million. So Midlands comes second. And then you also have third is Matabeleland South, interestingly, with six licenses, new licenses, and about $212 million worth of investments. And then you go to Mashonaland East, Matabeleland North. Harare, interestingly, Harare is getting a number. It has got a significant number of licenses. In fact, it has got the highest number of new licenses. That is for Harare. 73 new licenses were issued for Harare. But in terms of projected investments, it's about 69 1.5 million US dollars. So probably these are your small traders and or maybe light manufacturers that are getting licenses to operate in Harare. About 73 of them new licenses that were issued in the second quarter, but investment value of about roughly 70 million. And the least attractive province in Zimbabwe in terms of new licenses is Bulawayo, just getting 4 of the new licenses that were issued, and even the value was just about $950,000, which is less than $1 million. So I don't know what we need to do so that we start attract investments in Bulawayo as well. I remember back in the day, even from history, we understand that most industries had their headquarters in Bulawayo, doing manufacturing and the like. So I think we need to come up with maybe declare, what if we Bulawayo as a whole is declared as a special economic zone.
I think it's better that way.
Yes, it's declared a special economic zone with all these incentives that comes with the special economic zone. I'm sure companies will be interested in setting base there in Bulawayo.
No, not you, Kudzie. Just to add on that, akuna chinhu so you have applied for something maybe in Mutare or in Bulawayo. Once takamirira response iri kubva kuHarare.
You know,
honestly, but this is the second largest city in Zimbabwe.
Yes.
Why can't we have systems zokuti kuBulawayo there you will be able to do everything zvichitofinalize wa ikoko zvichiperera ikoko?
Yes, so I think it's something that maybe the authorities should consider if we are to boost investments in Bulawayo and attract. We create jobs, and also because of its proximity to the likes of Botswana, to the likes of South Africa, and we declare it an a special economic zone with all sorts of incentives. Probably some companies that are operating in South Africa might say, okay, maybe we should consider it's closer to Bulawayo. Maybe we should consider doing some toll manufacturing or setting up base in Bulawayo. But again, there are other issues that we need to sort out there in Bulawayo. For example, the issue of water, because you can't then come in and the moment you set base, you are told that well, you want to produce beverages, but you'll be buying those kind of things. I think we need key enablers to be put in place in Bulawayo, and maybe we can get it running again. And I think it's.
So there's a question from Leo Muzambi, who is in Leeds in the UK, listening online. Naikudzi, how do I buy my shares from the diaspora on the Zim market?
Yeah, so thank you for that. I think if you go to the website of the Zimbabwe Stock Exchange, there are contact details for stock brokers. Just pick any, any that you think, or you can even Google. Like for example, what you can do is you pick a name, you Google and just see how it has been reported, because there are some that really do in terms of research. So they are always quoted by the newspapers to say this particular stockbroking firm is doing this and that. So, and you can also look for the annual report for the Securities and Exchange Commission of Zimbabwe. They've got brokers in terms of their capitalization, in terms of performance. Maybe you can pick from there, and then their contact details are there. You can get in touch with them so that they can send you their forms that you can fill in and open an account. Or if you already have a bank account here in Zimbabwe, which is important, you must have a local bank account. If you already have it, what you can also do is you can go online. There are trading platforms that you can open online. Uriku UK kune applications kune online. We have spoken about them. The ZSC Direct, the C-Trade that you can open Urikoko as long as you're in a Zimbabwean account, and you can actually start trading your shares. So these are two alternatives that you can use to buy shares on the Zimbabwean market.
All right, hopefully Dio, you've been answered on that one. Thank you so much. Elder Samanyanga from Banget is saying that FBC Securities has reported a notable increase in United States dollar interest rates in Zimbabwe, driven by low liquidity, rising foreign currency demand, and reduced financial intermediation. This development is expected to have substantial repercussions for the nation's economy and financial markets. Could this also be impacting the parallel markets rates?
Yeah, I didn't get it because he said FBC Securities reported. So FBC Securities is a stockbroking firm. So I'm not sure whether they were reporting on what is happening in the economy or happening in terms of their own performance as FBC Securities. So I didn't get Elder Samanyanga clear there.
Okay, maybe you can you rephrase on that one. But all the same, Kudzie, what's the current market capitalization for VFX?
The Victoria Falls Stock Exchange, in terms of market capitalization, do I have it offhand? The last time I checked, it was 1.3 billion US dollars. But offhand, I might lie. But it's between 1.3 and 1.5 billion dollars, somewhere thereabout. Yeah.
Okay, we'll get the exact figures as soon as we find them out. But let's look at. We spoke about the regional markets.
Yes, we spoke about the regional markets, and we spoke about the international markets as well. So I think what I've also been seeing in that is being discussed by quite a number of people is to do with Zimbabwe's the announced de-dollarization plan that was announced, and I've seen some are already dismissing it. I was reading one newspaper just this morning where they were saying that analysts are saying the de-dollarization plan is doomed to fail, and I'm like, okay, the plan is not even out and already because the plan is yet to be announced how it's going to be done, and already we have got analysts that are saying that it is doomed to fail. Well, they are better informed than me in terms of what's really happening in terms of that. And I also saw an article from one of the local publications saying that price hikes hit Zim. And interesting, because one of the major wholesale managing director or general manager of one of the biggest wholesale firms in Zimbabwe was actually quoted saying that the increase in price is simply a result of limited forex on the formal market, which is forcing manufacturers to supply goods at a premium to source forex on the alternative market in an effort to procure raw materials. With the goods supplied at a premium, the retailers put a markup to survive. So this is actually an executive with one of the biggest also companies in Zimbabwe that is quoted in this story saying that. So it apparently there have been some price hikes that I've seen. I'm not sure what you've seen. I've seen with one fruit vegetable that we used to buy in one of the local retail outlets. It used to be about $3.50, and on Saturday I think it was at $4.50, and that was okay. It was a surprise for me, but it was still cheaper if you buy it in that particular retail outlet than buying US dollars. If you do the math, you count the number of apples. Maapple mangana muchingoro anenge achinzi $4 aya mangani ari kunzi $4.50, but ne rate re $14.70. Which one is cheaper? Yes, but
alternative market. Do we have an alternative market in Zimbabwe?
It's an we call it some call it a black market, all right.
But Kudzie, we try to just briefly before, because I started about a minute now.
Yes,
we've been speaking a lot about the SADC Industrialization Week.
Yes.
It has come and it's gone.
Yes,
let's talk about the achievements.
I think
After the week,
I think I had an opportunity to speak to some of the, for example, investment promotion agencies that were here from other countries, and the inquiries that they were getting, if those are then come to fruition, I think that will be a success. And I also think some of the discussions that were made, I maybe tomorrow we can actually talk about it in detail, because there was a communique that was released after the SADC Industrialization Week, just pointing out the achievements of the SADC Industrialization Week. So I think we can tackle it and probably even call in the CEO of the Chief Executive Officer of the Confederation of Zimbabwe Industry, CZI, to just come in and point out those successes here.
I think it will be the best to do that, because takataura nezvayo zvichiri build up. So let's find out what we have achieved. The same, Kudzie, thank you so much for Business Focus for today. We discuss more in detail, as you said, tomorrow. Have yourself a great Thursday.
Thank you, Tinashe.
Business Focus with Kudzie Sharara on the Champions League Breakfast.